Today, we embark on a journey to uncover the rich world of goat milk farming. Here on Mashambani Dairy Goats Farm, we are going to explore the passion and dedication behind this franchise. I am your host, Sheila, and this is NTV Seeds of Gold. Goat milk farming, an industry that is sustainable but filled with its own unique challenges and rewards. We get to meet Purity, the mastermind behind this milk enterprise.
Hi, Shira. Hi. Nice to meet you.
So,
Yes. Yeah, let us go and see the farm.
The journey begins with a simple disinfection before entering the world of goat farming for milk.
A shower here.
yeah,
All the germs have been left
behind.
behind.
Goat farming for milk might be unconventional, but here at Mashambani, it's a thriving venture fueled by health-conscious choices.
I actually don't think people don't like goat milk.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even have an idea that it exists. And let us even talk of our generation. I don't know what we are calling it. Ours was X. What is your generation?
I'm a millennial.
Millennials now. We drank goat's milk because we were grazing goats.
Yeah.
But the millennials don't even know how a goat itself looks like. You've heard of kids who you ask them, where do mangoes come from? They tell you capital shoppers. So you can understand that sometimes it is just because of exposure. Yes, I will accept that goat's milk consumption is not widespread, but it is one of the health options people are adopting now, considering that the high commercialization of cow milk has also brought in some key challenges. I'm sure you've heard of several people who are saying that they bloat when they drink cow milk. Definitely, I'm not a doctor. I will not tell you why they are bloating. But the cases of bloat when you take goat's milk are extremely minimal, because they say the goat's milk, in as much as it has lactose, it is quite well tolerated, both by kids, invalids, those who are healing, and people who have special needs. Yes.
What started as a family project to provide milk for children following a doctor's advice has evolved into a remarkable journey, one goat at a time.
I'll tell you, Sheila, this was not a commercial project.
Yeah.
It started as a family project because I'm one of those victims who don't take cow milk.
Yes.
But also my kids failed to digest cow milk. So we got a goat just to provide, the doctor said, goat's milk. Or somebody told us, try goat's milk. And my kids tried goat's milk and they didn't react the way they were reacting with cow milk. So from that point, we got goats. One, then we added 3, and then the milk production was higher than what we needed.
Yeah.
So in search for ways of disposal, we got clients who are interested. And those clients talked about it to other people. And the other people came demanding for the milk. And we saw an opportunity. And we started the goats project. Otherwise, it is nothing. I have never dreamt about this. Me, I've been dreaming of selling tea, selling inverters and solar panels. It had never crossed to me that I should be running after goats and milking them, but now it is a passion.
It is a passion.
Yes, I dream goats. I hear goats everywhere. Even on the roadside, I see a goat.
To get started, Miss Purity encourages that one must not struggle over what they do not have. Use what's available, grow within your means, and embrace the journey. It's about putting in the work.
Basically, farming starts small. Apart from the plantation people who always start big because of also capital outlay, I'll tell you that we started with 1 goat and then added 3 goats. So basically it tells you that is the nucleus way of starting. I wouldn't even think that somebody would want to do all this all of a sudden. Starting point, get a raised structure, because with these goats you need total hygiene. They don't appreciate that. believe me, in the first place, how much water do you need to wash the hadders in case you wanted to put it them down? Now, the other thing is use the local materials available. You need 1 acre for 20 goats.
Yes.
So if you have 4 goats, you need about a quarter.
Yeah.
And number 2, goats eat anything. What do they call banana peels?
Banana peels.
Peels, yeah. Yes, they are peels, they are banana, they are leaves,
Yeah.
they are avocados, they are jackfruits leaves, any leaf you find around.
Yeah.
The goats will nib and see what they can digest and what they cannot digest. And they are not heavy feeders. Maximum a goat can eat is 4 kilograms of feeds per day. Compare that to 100 kilograms of feeds for a cow, minimum. So you can see 1 cow can feed about 20 goats and over. And over. So goats are a bit more easier to feed, but it doesn't mean that they are simpler to keep. Well, I don't know so much about the meat goats.
Yeah.
What I know is that most of the meat people do free range.
Yeah.
Now with the dairy goats, my experience, I've had 10 years of experience with this, and we have tried both systems. I'll tell you, these things just want to be comfortable. They are slay queens. They just don't like sunshine, they don't like that, they don't like struggling. They just want you to come with a tray and you match and you serve them.
Goats well cared for become money makers. They dine on essential meals, including self-grown fodder.
I would say intensive care.
Yeah.
Intensive means in the morning you have a buffet. I mean, you must have cereals in the morning. And cereals, you can use bikanja, you can use maize bran, but the maize bran, be careful, there is aflatoxin. You know how we keep our bran. We also you have to do a mixture of some nutritive elements. And then after that, are you seeing those brown things, mineral blocks?
Yeah.
Allow them to leak. Remember, these things don't want to share. Each one of them have a cup which they drink from. So that is the morning routine. Give them the supplementation, which is put in this. Here we call it bikanja. So they are fed every morning, then they'll lick their salts and drink water. So that makes the breakfast. Then allow them to sleep and digest that. Then at 11 sharp, they need their first meal. That is their lunch. Then at 4 o'clock, you're serving the second meal. That is the tea break. And then evening, after you have done the final milking, you give them their supper.
Yeah.
And the supper has to be heavy, whereby these guys, they will eat from 6 up to 6 in the morning. That's why you see they have electricity.
Yeah, so we just keep going.
If you don't give them enough supper, you'll sleep with them here. They'll make enough noise to tell you, we don't like you. We have 2 types of grasses, or whatever we call the feeds. We have that which we have grown ourselves, grown feeds. And in the grown feed category, we have the legumes and we have the grasses. The legumes, we have desmodium, which you can see now. Yes. We have jack bean, and we have chloris, lablab and alfalfa. Then in the grass category, we have pak chong. Some people call it Kakamega grass. Then we have sugar grass. It is a modification of sugar cane and kisagazi, what they call pak chong, or local elephant grass. Then we also use a lot of maize. We use a lot of sweet potato vines, which we plant specifically for silage. So these grasses we also combine with whatever is there, and then we feed our goats. Yeah. You'll see each one of them has a tray of water.
So you have
and that water has to be there, or they have to sip some wine throughout.
because the doctor recommends it.
The doctor recommends
So
a cup of
this
wine per day.
One has to keep checking in, one has to keep refilling this.
You refill in the morning, 5 liters is enough. These are 5-liter cans. So once you put in the morning, of course there are those ones which drink faster, and we know them.
Yeah.
So those ones, immediately you finish your first line, somebody comes back. Of course we will need some automation, and you'll see automation of water, so that we ensure those who are fast drinkers don't run out of water. So we are raising a tank there so that we use the gravity.
Cleanliness is key. Even waste is repurposed for manure.
You said hygiene is very, very important.
Very important.
So that makes utter sense that you have this, so it's easier to clean that out.
Beautiful. Now, I hope you don't say this is dirty.
No, it can't
On
be.
a goat farm, you can see the drops are just 1-day drops.
Yes.
So what we usually do, we pick, there is something we use to pull down the droppings. We call them bins. And then we put them in a trench and we scoop them and dispose them in that heap.
Yes.
Waiting for decomposition so that we can take them to the farm. Now you see the site is quite far from any of the houses because you wouldn't want that smell, the ammonia smell, although it disappears within no time, to affect any goats here. So we can't put it behind or whatever, we put where we know there is full exposure, that the goats will not be affected.
Okay.
Waste is turned into treasure for the firm.
Sheila, I think this farm is one of the farms we would say is kind of organic, in as much as some things may not be 100% looking like organic. What we do here is complete recycling from the farm to the glass and back. So we grow our own feeds, and these feeds, once we cut, there's something we call replacement therapy. So all the droppings from the goats are used to replenish. So we don't have anything we call fertilizers, artificial fertilizers in the farm. And once we cut, definitely we are able to carry them, feed, because all our goats are zero grazed. And whatever they produce, they will either produce manure for the farms again, or they produce for us the babies, which we can be able to grow and sell. And they can also produce the milk, which is our core business. So whatever you find in this farm is related to each other.
With over 200 females, Mashambani controls common infections, showing goats truly make everything usable.
So if we can look into one of these houses.
These are quite clean.
Yeah. So you can check. This is how they want their houses. Once they discover there is something, but it also helps us to control any infection, because once we find that there is some dirt in any of these houses, it means that the goat has a stomach infection. Its droppings are not grainy.
Yeah.
So that is why they are not passing. So it means you really have to re-examine that goat so that you can know exactly what is affecting it.
Yeah.
So keeping these wood as clean as these helps you to control infections.
Yeah. Speaking of infections, what are some of those diseases or infections that one has to deal with if they venture into this?
Beautiful. Actually, the biggest problem with the dairy goats, and specifically the ones we are milking, is something called mastitis.
Yeah.
It can be from the surface, it can also be an infection because of poor milking. But this, and whether it is poor milking, mastitis is a bacterial infection.
Yeah.
So once it drops on the wood and another goat comes and sleeps on that,
that's it.
The infection comes. Other than that, the next infection will be heart water, which is caused by ticks. Beautifully here we don't have any incidences of ticks because every Friday these goats are fumigated. They are sprayed and the houses are fumigated properly. So we don't have issues of ticks. Ticks now affect goats from here So once you check a goat, this is where we check.
And that's where they usually come.
Yeah, this is where they come. So you are able to see the skull is extremely clean. Yes. And in any case, they don't graze with any other goats. We don't have any grazing grounds.
Yeah.
They are in throughout. So the only pest they can be able to get there may be coming from rats, rodents, because they're in a bush.
Of course.
But other than that, and also those rodents, we try and trap them. But can you saturate? Yes.
Miss Purity explains that dairy goats, though not like cows, produce gold in the form of milk. Learn about their types and capacities.
When we started this farm, not specifically here, but when we started dairy goats, we started with a brown goat. It's called a Toggenburg. But when we came here, nobody knows what happened. The few Sannens, which are the white goats, the few Sannens we had multiplied. The brown ones died. And because by the time we shifted from Kampala to here, we had about 20 goats. We were left with about 3 brown ones and 17 white ones.
Yeah.
Now, those 17 and above have multiplied and they have become the dominant goats here.
Yeah.
But we are so happy with that because the white goats, which is called a Sannen, is the highest producer of goat's milk.
Yeah.
Now, you'll also find some which have funny colors. These are crosses.
Yeah.
It was maybe the father is a Sannen, the mother is a Toggen or British Alpine. You can also see another group which is black. That is also the same thing. We have never bought a black goat here. But once they are born, you find that they have traces of their ancestry, which we are not able to trace. So which category is which? The black one, according to the international standards, is called a British Alpine. That is the black one.
Yeah.
Then the white one here is a Sannen. This is a Sannen. All those other colors you are seeing, those are crosses. Then I want to show you a Toggenburg. A classic example of Toggenburg starts from here.
Yeah.
These ones and these two girls here.
Oh, she's a big girl.
Yes. So those are Toggenburgs.
Yeah.
But they are the ones which died massively, so we were left with just a count.
Some give 4 liters, some give more.
The Frisian in the dairy goats is a Sannen. It produces a maximum of 5 liters. Some people tell you 6 liters. I haven't seen it, but basically the recorded is supposed to be 4 liters. Now the second to that is the Toggenburg.
Yeah.
The Toggenburg is supposed to give you about 3.5. Now the Sannen, the Toggenburg, is the same as a Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the goats which are known in Uganda. Of course, they are Hairshires and the rest. Now, a Jersey has a higher butter content compared to a Frisian.
Yeah.
So, a butter content of a Toggenburg is higher than that of the Sannen. The third best goat, although some people tend to exchange between those two, is something called French Alpine. Either French Alpine or German Alpine. Some people are not able to differentiate between the two. And those ones, they are also able to produce up to 3.5 liters. They are only that they are small-bodied.
Yeah.
And then there are also other goats like Anglo-Nubians, which are dual. They are chamois goats. Definitely, there are many other. You've heard of Nigerian dwarf. And then the Indians also have the big, huge goats.
Yes.
I don't even know their names. Yeah, so that is how we categorize them. So in this farm, basically, we have the Sannen, which is the biggest producer, and then the Toggenburg. The Alpines are counted.
Appearance can be deceiving. It's really not about the size.
Dairy goats have a poor body mass index. Yeah. What do I mean by that? When you look at the dairy goats compared to the Boers you are used to, compared to our local beautiful goats, they look skinny and bony. And sometimes somebody will blame you for not feeding them well. They also shame us. But we want even to get some oil and smear.
Just so they can look good.
They look good, but they will keep on shaming you. I really don't know. And somebody will also ask you, why do you keep the horns? They will fight.
Yeah.
For us, that is the beauty in that type of a goat.
Yeah.
We love the horns. And once they grow up in a dormitory setup, you can see that is a dormitory.
Yes.
They grow up knowing each other.
So they get along.
So they get along very, very well. And what we are trying to do now, we are demolishing that cubicle system to a dormitory setup because it will take in more goods.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is quite
And it will also help us to maintain straight lines because you know this dormitory is only for Sundance, this dormitory is for Toggenburgs only. So you're able to maintain a line.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yes.
Now, the show is Seeds of Gold, and gold is what we are looking for. So tell me about the money.
Money. Somebody's harvesting money.
Yes.
Well, I will
We
let
are
you
mining
know.
gold here. I hope you enjoyed our adventure today on NTV Seeds of Gold. Do not forget to tune in again next weekend. This has been NTV Seeds of Gold. Keep the comments coming in, #NTV Seeds of Gold. See you again next weekend.